Go.
What's up guys, it's Rogue here and welcome back to yet another amazing video on the channel. So today I got one of my all-time favorite decks of all time. It is another updated version. I believe it's now even more consistent and more powerful than the profile I did 2 months ago. As you can see from the title, it is of course Salamangreat, and I do think that this deck will be going places over the next few months. I do think it will be getting held off the ban list. I think Circle can come to 2 or Gazelle. I'm not really that picky. But when that happens, I feel like Salamangreat will actually be a meta deck. I think right now it's probably the top of Rogue, maybe tier 2, but I don't think it's actually up there with the top decks at the moment. So this is my take on it. It's changed a bunch since the last video. I've been playing it non-stop in locals and other events, and I've been winning things with it. So this is a really good template to go off your Salamangreat lists. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the deck. So starting off with the Salamangreat monsters, we of course have triple of the Salamangreat Spinny. I tested him out at 2 and I bumped him up again to 3 because I feel like with this current build you really need to be seeing Salamangreat monsters in your hand, and we only play 8, so it's kind of important to see the really good ones, hence why I also play 2 of the Jaguar. Also with triple desires, you want them to survive. Basically you need at least 1 Jaguar to survive, and if it's a good desire, it's usually 2 Spinny, so if one does get banished you have another one in the deck. So that is it for the more than one ofs, and the rest we have 1 Foxy. I see people playing this card at 3. I personally don't really like this card that much because every time I use its effect on normal it never hits for me, but the coming back from the grave is an insane effect. So I play it for 1 for that reason. Of course we got the 1 Gazelle. It's the best Salamangreat monster there is, just special and a foolish burial. And we got the 1 Falco. Falco, you can say, is the weakest Salamangreat monster, but in the grind game, I actually do believe this is the strongest card. Being able to bounce back your Gazelle, summon itself, summon your Gazelle again is really crazy. For the generic cyber support that we do play, we have triple of the Flame Buffalo. I still believe he is actually better than Lady Debug, but they do switch around quite often, so when Lady Debug is better, I will play triple of her instead of the Buffalo, but for now I do value the draws. I value drawing into those hand traps and disrupting my opponent. For the other Cyber monsters here, double of Parallel Exceed. I see many builds not even playing this card. Don't know why. This card literally specials another copy of itself from the deck, and it summons itself for free just by you playing the game and using your mechanic, which is Link Summon, so actually crazy. And if you do banish one of Desires, it's just free fodder for your Buffalo to draw 2, so really nice, and then you make a Abyss Dweller using it. And for 1 of here, cut it down to 1 is just a Sea Archiver. I feel like playing 1 is necessary because playing 2, I was seeing 2 in my hand, which is not what you want with this card. You want to see this card, either discard it through the Buffalo or discard it off Signet Mining, and then it was basically a free special, and then you can make your Mirage Stalio. So usually, best case scenario is a Sea Archiver and a Spinny, because they don't get banished when they use as exit material. So now moving on to the hand traps, and this is Salamangreat, so there are quite a few. Triple Ash. Normally I'd play 2 of Ash, but this is a fire, and the fact it's a fire means as soon as you see 1, you see it for the rest of the game because you constantly just add it back. So Ash is a 3 of in Salamangreat. We got 2 of the Ghost Bell. Card's still really good. Protects you from IDP, which is essential against this deck. Absolutely ruins your day. Stops Nadir's Servant, stops Invocation, a bunch of other cards it stops as well. Really good card. Double Effect Veiler. Again, I think this is quite an underrated hand trap at the moment against Tri-Brigade. This card is insane. Doesn't care about chain links, you just boom, negate a monster's effect. And it's not once per turn either. And probably the weakest card in the deck at the moment, card I'm considering to take out, is actually double of the Fantastical Dragon. In theory, it was really good to play because all the meta decks do use links, but in practice, I'm sort of bricking on it because my opponent doesn't link when I do have it, and they link when I don't, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking of cutting this out for double of the Triple Tactics talent, just to be basically punish when they do hand trap me or potentially steal Dragoons, which is kind of a problem for this deck. And for the last hand traps, it is just triple Imperm. Again, I feel like this card is like Effect Veiler. Really underrated, but it is coming up in the meta, and with its super reprint, it's very cheap now as well. Moving on to the spells, we got probably the best spell in the deck. Double Will of the Salamangreat, Monster Reborn every turn, or just a Soul Charge when you feel like using it for more than 1 revival. Absolutely crazy card. Once you see this card again in the grind game, you just win because most decks can't keep up with a free return every single turn. So crazy card. 1 of the field spell, you play it because you search it, but You don't ever want to see this in your hand, but it is essential because it lets you do all your relinks for free. For 1 circle, the card that can potentially come back to 2 or 3 if Konami's feeling generous. Really nice card. Make sure if you are using the add effect to do it in the draw phase, because then you can't get drolled. Not that this deck loses too much to draw, but it can switch off your Desires and Buffalo, so that is why. But circle, absolutely insane. And if you don't need the search, you can also just protect yourself from the Vero as well. For the consistency cards here, triple of the Signet Mining. This card is mandatory. The discards aren't even bad in this deck, so it's literally just add Gazelle to your hand, or add Spinny or whatever if you already have the Gazelle. Triple of the Pop Desires. I feel like this card is amazing, but seeing 2 in your hand is sort of punishing, but you are playing 3 because its benefits outweigh its negatives in my opinion. Absolutely insane card. Once you've cycled all your Salamangreats, you don't really care what's left in the deck. You can just banish away and draw 2. 1 upstart consistency. And moving on to the actual traps, we got double of the Rage, because it is actually, in most cases I think it's actually better than the Raw. Against most decks you pop 2 in the end phase, is really good. And we do play the 1 Raw. I play 1 and 2 because this card resets itself for free, so that is why I play the 2 Rage. So basically I could play 2 Raw anyway because it resets itself, but I value the Rage more than the Raw, hence why I'm playing 2 of this and 1 of this. So that's it for the main deck. I'll be now going into the extra deck and side deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we got our Access Code Talker, also known as Rastaliger, until he gets a reprint. We got our double YuGiOh. Was going to cut this card out, but it's just been overperforming for me really, so I'm going to keep it in for now. The ability to spin away back row is really good, to bait out loads of things like that. And it's basically just, you can get over really big monsters as well with them, because it reduces attack. For the other Link 3, we got the 1 Transcode Talker. This card's mandatory now in my opinion, nothing more to say. Protects you from targeting, and basically gives you access code in combination with Update Jammer. Update Jammer is also mandatory, gives you 2 attacks, and basically just makes your Access Code Talker a massive problem. Another Link 2, we got Nightmare Phoenix. I do play this card to out, again, more back row, and it is fire, so it's sort of easy to go back into Salamangreats after you make the Nightmare Phoenix. Problem with Update Jammer and Transcode is that they're not fires, and the Salamangreat either need low-level Cyburst for Bailings or fire Cyburst monsters, or just fire monsters in general, which is why Nightmare Phoenix is really good, because it's a fire. For another Link 2, we got the Splash Mage. This with Jaguar is a 1-card access code, so that's why I play it. It's also just really useful when you want to bring stuff back from the grave as well. Just basically makes you access code out of nowhere. Obviously 3 of the main man, the boy, the best extra deck monster there is for Salamangreats, the Wolf. This card is the heart and soul of the deck. Adds you back a monster and adds you back a spell and trap every single turn, and that's just crazy advantage that most decks can't keep up with. The Link 1s, we got triple of Bailings. She's basically just there to get you a field spell and to just protect your other Salamangreat. She's like the mum. She protects all of her little cubs from getting destroyed. So that is why we play her, and her effect doesn't actually activate, so you can just do it at the end of the resolution of a chain, boom, Bailings, because she doesn't activate, so. For our Xyz monsters, 1 Abyss Dweller, crazy card against the meta, absolutely just poops all over the meta in my opinion, just switches off everything. Drytron can't use the grave, Tri-Brigade just die. Virtual World again, they can't use most of their cards in grave, and yeah, should all just die as well. Really good card. And the 1 Mirage Dalio. If this card comes to 3, I'll still be playing 1. But this card's really good. Going first, usually you make him, and you're locked into fires, but you're locked into fire effects. You can still make your Abyss Dweller, and then just use it during your opponent's turn. So now for the side deck. I suited it sort of towards my locals, but it also hits the meta as well. Triple of the Artifact Lancia. This card is a blowout against many decks at the same time, so that is why I'm playing it. It hits Tri-Brigade, and it hits in a way Invoked as well, so it's really good. Triple Droll. Droll is Droll. Just wreck Drytron and wreck the rogue decks like freaking Cyberdarks that add 80 times during their turn. Just Droll them. We got the 1 Pankratops. It's at 1 for a reason. Crazy card. Triple Twin. This card's aren't bad in this deck usually, so Triple Twin just to punish the back row decks. This is a card I'm actually testing out. We got triple of the Burning Draw. This card hasn't come up for me yet, but in theory, if they have an Appaloosa, you're drawing 4 of this card. So that is absolutely crazy in my opinion. And it actually helps seeing your sided cards in. So usually you draw 4 and then you should be seeing your twins and stuff, which is where I put it in. The 1 Harpies, Feather Duster, just punish your opponent if you draw it and you're skilled. And then the 1 Red Goo, again, punish your opponent for playing back row decks, just draw it if you're skilled. So that's it for the Salamangreat Deck Profile. I hope you guys did enjoy the new updated version of what I've been using basically for the past 2 months since I last uploaded Salads. The deck is really, really strong in my opinion. Most people say that there's not enough monsters, but that hasn't been an issue for me. I usually resolve buffer like twice in a game, and that's usually enough to win from there. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new, make sure you do subscribe and leave a like down below. Comment any changes you would make, and I'll catch you in the next video.
It's time!